Today I'd like to speak about the size of the problem, okay, and what is the problem. So we all know the world's got a hell of a problem with drugs, and how do we actually combat this? I mean, we talk about fighting this war on drug campaigns and stuff like that, and saying no to drugs. Is it strong enough to say no to drugs? In other words, it's turn your back and be submissive. No, we don't do drugs. It's not aggressive enough. It's not strong enough. And where do we start? We talk about rehabilitation centers. And okay, first of all, how did I do? I've been in drugs for 40 years. I'm clean now, obviously. But how did I stop? Let's talk about cocaine. When I decided to stop cocaine properly, I didn't go to rehab, and I'm not a hero. I just saw so many people coming out of rehab and going back into it. And I thought, well, why is this happening? Why do people go in and they want to get better and then they come out and they go back to drugs? And why do we start in the first place? I mean, and how do you combat this? Do we fight people that are already drug addicts, or how do we actually combat it? And my cocaine, being very honest, I gave up. I decided I want to stop. I need to stop this shit. It's killing me. It's fucking my life. I'm not kidding me. I was cool. I was late, man. Like, it was so cool. I was like wired and maintaining, and it was just the world was a bit wrong, but I was there. This wasn't affecting me. It wasn't hurting me. But then I realized it was. So I decided to stop. And I bought a gram, okay, and I knew anyone who's done cocaine will know what I'm talking about when you say when that gram is finished, you've got the last line and you've got to work out, now am I going to have the whole line, or am I going to break it into two, and then you break it into two and then three, and eventually you've got 4 little crumbs and you're looking around the table to try and scratch some more together so you can have another line, and you're sitting at that time and you're thinking, should I make the call? And it's easy, isn't it? It's one call, one phone call, bang, and the oak comes to your door, drops it off, you pass your cash and off you go. You on your bicycle, get no effort. It's the days of having to go and drive around. They were gone, man. It's room service, but wall to wall. So now I knew this. So it wasn't hard to get, and money was going, man. Like 30,000 rand a month. In my heyday, I was doing 30,000 rand a month. Okay, think about that. 3 house bonds a month of a decent sized house. And I decided, okay, I'm going to stop. And I got a gram and I chopped it and I went through it. I went through it super fast. And I kept for that last bit, that last 2 lines. And I sat there and I went through the normal paranoia and anxiety of knowing it is now finished. But now I knew it was finished for my life. And I felt that feeling. I took ownership of that feeling of angst and that terror and that fear and anger and all of that, and I took ownership of that feeling. And then I knew I had to change my routine. I had to change. Junkies, druggies, whatever you want to call them, we all go and get our drugs at the same time. We do the same routine. We've got routines. So boom, we go at this time of day, and then you start getting anxious like a dog salivating, Pavlov's dog, isn't it? You salivate for your drugs. And you can come up with the best excuses. It's amazing how creative you can get to convince yourself why this time it is really necessary. This is no bullshit. This is not, I don't need this for the drugs. It's going to change the world. And we go and get it. And I had to change that routine. I had to be somewhere else, doing something else at that time, and I couldn't deviate on this. And I had to put a schedule in place of what I'd be doing in that period of time. And when I went into that time, I closed my eyes and I took ownership of that feeling. I remembered back to that horrible feeling from the night before of withdrawing from cocaine. And I did that every day. And it was for 3 weeks. And then you got behavior. You change your behavior. The first week was fucking terrible. But I knew I wanted to do it, and I took ownership of that feeling. That feeling of withdrawing was worse than the feeling of the coke. And I stopped, bang. I never did coke again. I haven't done a line of coke. And you could put a line right in front of me now, and no one watched, so I could actually cheat myself, and I wouldn't take it. I would not do chemicals again. Weed, yes, I always smoke weed, and this is the problem. We say don't fight drugs, let's find God and everything. We need to differentiate. Weed is not good. Alcohol is not good, but the chasm between alcohol and weed and chemicals is immense. Magic mushrooms is a different story. I'm not even going to go there. It's a complicated story. I'm not going to go there. It's in a different place, okay? And people don't go there. The people that experiment with that are, please God, yeah, you get the kids and stuff that go play. And it's not a game. It really isn't a game. Mushrooms are not a game. But so I got out of chemicals like this. And then, but going on, I didn't see myself. Everyone's always talking. I said, are you an addict? And I said, no, I'm not an addict. I was not an addict. And then after a while, now giving up, I said I was an addict. But I'm questioning that mind space nowadays. I'm saying I am a self-confessed addict or a recovering addict is turning around and saying that, to me, it's a cop-out. It gives me an excuse. If I go back, if I had to try again, oh, no, hold on, I'm an addict. Someone comes out of a rehab and they go back, oh, no, he's an addict. So we picture ourselves as addicts, and then when we lapse, we turn around and say, well, that's how we are. We behave, we're addicted, But it's not the addiction. If you're physically addicted, if it's heroin or all of these terrible things, I didn't go into that space. But if you're in that space and if you're physiologically addicted, that's a different story. Go and get help. And you still get help, go to rehab. But understand that the situation is, see yourself not as a recovering addict. See yourself as a person that had addictive tendencies. You have got a proclivity towards addiction. You can turn around and become addicted. But when you say, I'm an addict, I have surrendered. So don't picture yourself as an addict. Picture yourself with addictive tendencies, and then picture yourself as healthy and not on drugs. And that is the paradigm of your life. And perceive yourself as that person. And then you will aspire to that person, and you will do what that person will be your comfort zone, and you'll do whatever you need to get into your comfort zone. And you will get off drugs, and it's worth it. It really is. It's amazingly worth it. I cannot stress it. Now, it's the same as mental illness, isn't it? Mental illness as well. I'm mentally ill, so I need mood stabilizers and Prozac and friggin' what are the causes things? Antidepressants, and all this whole range. Now let's think about this. So our brains are little electric shocks, and there's a whole lot of mushy shit, and there's a couple of chemicals running around. And we're not quite sure what's happening. None of these folks know. Yeah, we can tell her this kind of stuff, but we can't create, we cannot emulate, and they guess and they get it wrong. Okay? No, they get some right as well. But the fact is, now we turn around, we've got this thing going on your head, and we say, oh, hold it, let's throw some chemicals. Boom. We say, well, now the person is calm. Your family has just been killed by brutal Aborigines in Ghana, and they have been eaten. Well, that is rather unfortunate. I always thought they would reach a tragic end. Can I have another cup of tea? Fuck. And now we come out and we got this cushion, this cotton wool of antidepressants and mood stabilizers keeping us like, really cool. Yeah, the whole family died, but it's fine. And we're not going. So now what happens? Think of it. Think of this like a piece of steel, like a book, and it's surrounded by cotton wool, okay? And the cotton wool is your antidepressants and your mood stabilizers. Now, crack of life comes in as hitting towards this book, right? This tablet in the center. But the cotton wool is keeping it off, so the book doesn't get damaged. So what does the book do? It stops protecting itself. I don't need a cover. I'm like quite cool now. This cotton wool is quite cool. So it gets lazy, doesn't it? Cotton wool comes off when we decide to get off these things, and all of a sudden the world, hi, the milk delivery is going to be late. Oh no, not the milk. God, no. And we got bosses, we can't handle life. We start chickening out of life. Life becomes a major, and we're all cool, and our kids are on Ritalin or whatever they're on. And we've got this whole drug society. We look around, and when people go bossies, we say, right, oh, they're acting out of character. No, probably they're just not on drugs. Huh? The rest of the people that are all the cool people are just either drugs, recreational drugs, or they're on prescription drugs. But we are altering our state of mind, which means we don't even know what humanity is anymore. We don't know what we are. We don't know what our personality is. Yeah, we're the the pinnacle of creation, aren't we? The most successful predator ever to work the earth. By like being so cool, man. No, we didn't get that by here. Yeah, we got to trim the edges off, but covering it is artificial reality is not the way to go, and that's why the world's getting screwed up. So you want to give up your drugs, do it yourself, don't see yourself as an addict. And then my campaign, I'm putting this campaign together. Sorry, I almost forgot, but I shouldn't. It's a drugs, and that's probably not a joke either. I want to do a campaign on this, but I don't want to hit in the normal place of the campaign. I want to hit young kids before they take drugs. And we start challenging the paradigm of peer pressure. We start talking about what it's going to be like when they start going out, how dealers work, and start preparing them and set up that drugs are not cool. Not a situation school. Drugs are not cool. Drugs. We want them to creating cameo scenes using social media and live events, and let them see in that situations where the person had made wrong decisions and the impact of those decisions. So the viewer, and these I'm talking primary school kids, they can see and work out as the story unfolds, and they can predict the decision that the character should have made and how he would have, so they can understand the process of not drugs are bad, but what it can do to them in relationship, family, life, future, career, everything. And I think this is where we're aiming, and I'm working with quite a few people at the moment, and I'm looking to grow. Anyone wants to get involved? I wanted to take this and take this country, get this shit sorted out, not sorted out, but at least make a dent in the right place, okay? So that's my game, and have a good one.